I was a little bit late to the party when it came to the DS product line. I skipped out on the DS in favor of a PSP, and I didn't get a 3DS until around the time Pokemon X and Y came out. It didn't take long for me to realize these consoles dominated the sales charts for a reason. The 3DS was amazing and was home to a ton of great games. But in today's console landscape, is it worth running out and getting one of these? Or if you have one, is it worth dusting off and playing? In my honest opinion, I say yes, and for a variety of different reasons. Not only is it one of the best handhelds ever made, the fact that it's backwards compatible with the DS gives you access to 2 complete console libraries of games. And more so, this console is super easy to mod, and once it is modded, it opens up the doorway to a whole plethora of features, making an already great console that much better. That's pretty much going to be the primary focus of this video. I'm going to talk about ways you can mod your 3DS console, and why the console is just as good now as it was when it first came out. For starters, let's address the easiest mod you can make. This mod can only be done on the new 3DS and 2DS product line, and it's basically a C-stick upgrade. Using a paper clip or safety pin, you tear off all of the rubber covering the C-stick, and then you go out and purchase some replacement analog nubs for the PSP. Once the C-stick is fully exposed, the nub just pops into place, almost like it was made for it. And this provides a much more comfortable experience. And if you're playing a first-person shooter or a game where you control the camera using the C-stick, it just makes things a whole lot better. The next mod is if you want to exploit the console's DS hardware built in. If there's any console that can match the library of the 3DS, it's the DS, and you have full access to those games because the 3DS and 2DS models are fully backwards compatible. In order to exploit the system's hardware, all you have to do is invest in one of these R4 cards. They're not very expensive, and you can pretty much find them anywhere. These R4 cards are pretty much ROM cards that allow you to load up an SD card with a ton of DS games, and can even run some emulation software. They pop right into your 3DS or 2DS and provide a ton of value and entertainment. Once again, a super simple mod. Now, the meat and potatoes of 3DS and 2DS modding is with the ability to install custom firmware. Installing custom firmware pretty much opens up a whole new world for your console, and it's pretty easy to do. The instructions are easy to follow, and you can find everything you need at 3ds.hacks.guide. I'll put a link in the description below. Once you have custom firmware installed, the console gives you a ton of customization options, as well as the ability to run Homebrew. And there is a ton of really good Homebrew for this console. Right here I'm playing a working port of Quake 3, and there's also a really good Half-Life port available for the 2DS and 3DS. Now, another huge benefit of installing custom firmware on your 3DS or 2DS console is the ability to run retro emulation. Now, every iteration of the console will give you solid performance if you're emulating 8-bit or 16-bit consoles. But if you have a new 3DS or a 2DS XL, you can actually get some really solid performance out of N64 emulation. Some games work really well. Others struggle a bit. It's definitely not perfect, but it's still impressive nonetheless. And finally, the strongest case for owning a 3DS or 2DS in today's climate is for its own library itself. No matter what genre you're into, chances are you're going to find a really great game on the 3DS. Platforming is your thing, the console has a ton of great platformers. RPGs, this console is home to some of the best RPGs ever made. Fighting games, there are some pretty solid exclusive fighting games that came out for the console. Not to mention, this console has the best mobile port of Street Fighter 4. The console is even home to some pretty solid first-person shooters. So whether you skipped out on the console and you're looking to get one now, or you have one lying around and you're looking to dust it off, I hope you found this video helpful. And with PlayStation Vitas still being super expensive and PSPs being hard to find in good working condition, the 3DS and 2DS product line might actually be the best handhelds to find and mod right now. And I think they're definitely worth owning now more than ever before. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.